Okay, let's unpack this. We've all been there, right? That moment. You know, as a kid, when you thought you were being so clever, pull off a little fib or maybe did something incredibly goofy, only to get caught completely red-handed. Today, we're taking a deep dive into that feeling. The first time I got caught lying or doing something stupid.
Right. What's fascinating here really is just how universal this topic is. It's instantly relatable. These aren't just, funny little anecdotes people tell. They tap into something quite fundamental about, growing up, about human development. Pretty much everyone has a story like this tucked away somewhere. And they're usually packed with humor, sure, but also real emotion and this kind of raw authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity is a good word for it, even the embarrassing bits.
Exactly. And from a psychological viewpoint, these early blunders, they often represent our very first tangible lessons in consequence. And, the limits of our own perceived cleverness at that age, they sort of subtly begin to hardwire our moral compass, shaping how we understand truth and accountability. Sometimes in ways we don't even consciously realize until, much later in life.
That's a really powerful observation. Makes sense. So our mission for this deep dive then is to sort of open the vault on those hilarious and sometimes cringeworthy first-time lies or stupid moments. Not just for the laughs, although there will be laughs, but maybe to see what they reveal about how we learn. We're talking personal stories, shared experiences, looking for those common threads.
The patterns.
Yeah, the patterns. In fact, maybe I should kick us off. I've got a classic from my own past. Picture it, 6th grade me. I decide I'm faking a stomachache to skip school because, let's be honest, homework was definitely not done.
Oh, the classic avoidance tactic.
Totally. So my mom, bless her heart, she seems concerned, but she calls the school just to check in, Finds out there's a surprise quiz that day. And let's just say my stomachache made a miraculous recovery the second the mop came out. My day of rest turned into a day of chores, a very rapid and uncomfortable lesson in cause and effect.
The mop cure. And that's precisely the kind of experience we're exploring. These moments, however clumsy or poorly thought out they are, they seem to circle back to this collision with reality, a moment where the plan just falls apart. And this topic really does lend itself to interaction. Our listeners, they certainly deliver some gems.
Oh, they absolutely did. We got some incredible stories. For instance, someone sent in this story that just perfectly captures the spirit. They lied about knowing how to swim on a first date.
Oh, no.
Yeah, only to end up needing to be rescued by a lifeguard right there in front of their crush.
Oh, the cringe. That's almost too perfect an example.
Isn't it? It's those shared human experiences, right? Those youthful misadventures and the lasting, often hilarious impact they have. That's what we're digging into today, trying to uncover those little nuggets of wisdom hidden in the embarrassment.
It's quite fascinating, actually, how both your story, the 6th grade stomachache, and this listener's swimming tale, despite being very different situations, they kind of follow a similar developmental arc, don't they?
How so?
Well, in your 6th grade masterpiece, the initial perceived gain was simple. Avoid the quiz, avoid the consequences of not doing homework. The buildup involved, I imagine, a truly Oscar-worthy performance of suffering.
Oh, absolutely. Moans, clutching the stomach, the works.
Right. But the climax, that phone call from your mom, that was the unavoidable collision with reality. Bam. The aftermath wasn't just missing the quiz you wanted to avoid, it was facing new, immediate, tangible consequences. The chores. It solidifies that idea pretty quickly that deception rarely simplifies things. Often it just amplifies the repercussions.
Right, okay. So it's not just about getting caught, but about that bigger realization. That our actions have ripple effects, sometimes way bigger than we think.
Precisely.
That connects directly to the listener who, tried to impress their date by pretending to swim. The setup was simple enough. A desire to look good, maybe seem capable, create this idealized version of themselves. The buildup probably involved some confident nods, maybe a casual stroll towards the deep end, feeling pretty smooth. Until the shocking reality of the water's depth hits. And the lie is exposed in, probably the most public and mortifying way possible.
Exactly. That lifeguard rescue wasn't just embarrassing, it was a profound, immediate lesson. Right then and there. A lesson about the limits of pretense and maybe the importance of a little honesty, especially when you're trying to impress someone new.
Or maybe just learn to swim before the date.
Or that, yes. But what's compelling is that these early attempts at manipulation, whether it's faking an illness or exaggerating a skill, they often reveal our sort of nascent understanding of social dynamics, social cues.
Yeah.
even if our execution is, well, completely clumsy at that age.
And that universal pattern you mentioned earlier, the perceived gain, the tension building up, then the inevitable crash of reality, is that almost like a developmental milestone in how we learn about risk and reward?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I think it is, in a way. While these childhood blunders feel lighthearted looking back, they really do lay the groundwork for understanding consequence. They matter.
Yeah.
These aren't just isolated one-off events. They are genuinely formative experiences.
Right. They stick with you.
They do. The perceived gain from the lie or the foolish act is almost always short-lived. It vanishes pretty fast. And it gets replaced by a much more enduring lesson about accountability, about integrity. This feedback loop, try something, face the outcome. It's absolutely crucial for developing a sound judgment system as we grow.
It's actually pretty remarkable how something as simple as a fake stomachache or, boasting about swimming can become such a clear, vivid teaching moment, a moment that sticks with you for decades. These stories really highlight how our early attempts at navigating the world, and sometimes bending its rules a little, how they shape our understanding of right and wrong and the whole social fabric we operate within.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what we really learn from diving into these stories is, well, it's quite profound and often, let's be honest, very funny. These first-time blunders, whether they involve a sneaky little lie or a truly monumentally stupid decision, they teach us early on about consequences, about the limits of our own cleverness, and sometimes just about the unexpected, almost comical ways the truth has of revealing itself.
Like a surprise quiz announcement or a lifeguard's whistle.
Exactly. So the lighthearted moral here isn't just, don't lie. It's maybe more nuanced. Like, if you are going to lie, make absolutely sure your mom's not just one phone call away from the truth, or perhaps even better, just don't lie. Unless, of course, it makes for a killer deep dive story later on.
Huh. Okay, so what does this all really mean for us, for you listening? I think it means we're all connected by these hilariously cringeworthy moments. We've all got them. The universal resonance of these kinds of stories makes them just perfect for sharing, for discussion. They have that kind of shared potential, maybe, because everyone has one. And let's face it, everyone loves to hear a good one.
True. There's a certain relief in hearing others' failures.
Right. They remind us that we're all imperfect. We've all made mistakes. We've all had those facepalm moments. And often those mistakes, those cringes, lead to the best stories and maybe even the deepest insights down the line.
Which kind of raises an important question, doesn't it, for everyone listening? What's your first-time mess-up story? That first time you got caught? And looking back now, what did that moment getting busted, in your earliest attempt at deception or just a sheer foolishness, what did it truly teach you about yourself, or maybe about how the world works?
Yeah, think about that.
What is it about these early experiences of getting caught that makes them stick with us so strongly? Why are they so enduringly relatable and such a rich source of both humor and actually valuable lessons in our lives? How did that first brush with consequence shape, your own internal barometer for risk and reward? Worth pondering.